All right, welcome back to the Sports Arena. Thank you for everybody rocking with us. So, anybody who says we don't pay attention or listen to our fans, well, guess what? You foolish
We
because,
appreciate all y'all.
yeah, we do. So let's get to it, gentlemen. LeBron James, I believe it was last week. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Last week, stopped the entire media and basically paraphrasing here was like, nobody asked me about the Jerry Jones and the picture that had surfaced from when he was a teenager. But everybody wants to come to me and ask me for a soundbite when it came to the whole Kyrie Irving situation. And valid points. So, gentlemen, let's get into it. I want to know how y'all feel. And Ray, I'm going to start with you on this because I know you've been dealing with this all week with some of the comments I've seen come across your Facebook feed, people talking to you about it, and then in the several chats that we're in. So I'm going to let you start this conversation, my brother.
So I think I think a lot of people may have misinterpreted or misunderstood where I was going. I do a lot of subliminal stuff sometimes on Facebook. I just throw something out and just kind of get comments from people and see where it go. And I think a lot of people took where I was going on Facebook is if I don't think Jerry Jones was in the wrong or whatever. My point was it doesn't matter, right? Like it's kind of like what do we want from this situation besides a tit for tat? And I can even tie the two conversations in, and there's no, not even a really, there's no shade or nothing, but just even the last conversation, when you said when all the other coaches do it, right? We get in this mind frame of a tit for tat, where it's like the Jerry Jones photo surfaced out of the blue within a week after the Kyrie situation kind of came to a head, right? So to speak, like he was finally allowed to come back and play, and it was fresh in people's minds. So you're talking about two situations that are totally unrelated. I guess if you want to tie them in together, you can say Kyrie did something that was hurtful to a group of people, and Jerry Jones did something that was hurtful to a group of people, right? And then people will go, well, the book Kyrie was talking about is from, yeah, but like Kyrie is responding to, and if you go look at my Facebook, if you go look at any videos we've done, you'll know how I felt about the Kyrie situation, right? I was the guy on my live saying, y'all mad about something y'all ain't even read and researched. I was the guy saying what Kyrie needed to apologize for. I was the guy saying, if I'm glad he's standing on what he believed in. I was that guy. So before y'all jump in comments calling me a coon and rate up, miss me with that, right? So when people say they want the whole world to keep the same energy with Jerry Jones, well, I'm keeping the same energy. I didn't think Kyrie should apologize. Nor do I think an 80-year-old man should apologize for something he did when he was 15. I don't know what the world wants from this situation besides the idea of we have to hold them accountable and put this in parentheses too. They made Kyrie apologize, so Jerry should have to apologize too. It's like that's not going to evoke any real change. It's just going to make us feel better that, oh, they made the rich white guy do it too. And I just don't, I mean, like I'm about real change. Go look at the stuff I talk about on my Facebook. I'll get in the trenches and talk about the real stuff if people want to do that, right? Because I'm all about it. I'm a research, I'm gonna bring the numbers, I'm gonna talk about what's really wrong with America and what Jerry Jones did in 1957, whether he apologized or not, ain't gonna change nothing today. That's just how I feel. So I asked the question. I said, if Jerry Jones apologizes and denounces racism, what is that gonna do? It won't do nothing. So if people just want him to apologize just for the sake of holding him accountable too, and by all means, I just don't think it means anything. That was kind of the heart of what I was getting at. It won't mean a thing. It won't mean a damn thing. Over time.
And and to a certain extent, I understand where you're coming from. I feel as though in the current climate that we are in today in 2022, about to go into 2023, that word that you use, accountability, accountable, that is what people want. And when I say people, I mean the general masses. If you made a mistake when you were 9 years old and they find out when you're 49 years old, they want you to apologize for it. They want to know that you are remorseful, that you feel bad about that decision, whether you were informed or ill-informed. They just want to know that in today's world, you recognize that even back then, that was a mistake. I may not have known it back then, but I know it now. And I feel as though there needs to be some type of retribution is a bad word, but an apology. And John, you sit there with the screw face all you want, but that I feel is the society that we are in today, which is why comedians go out and say, I can't really do my job because anything I say is going to get scrutinized. Hell, we have to sometimes curb what we really want to say, even on this show. And we ain't making no money. Not yet. You know what I mean? I look at it from both lenses. Do I feel personally that Jerry Jones needs to apologize for something when he was 15 years old? No, I don't. As long as he within himself acknowledges that back then, even though that was the way of the world, it was not how things should have been. As long as he has that acknowledgement of self, I'm good. That's how I feel.
Mike?
Well, I mean, I know CBS Sports, and there's been a bunch of articles, and he was talking about obviously his respect and for LeBron James and what he thought of LeBron James. And I know in the article, because when you put this up today, I was scouring different articles. He said that, you know, it was 1957. He said his football coach, whatever, told him and his teammates to stay away from there. He just went down there out of curiosity, and he obviously gets photoed there. So, yeah, to an extent, I mean, it's like everybody, but he should have to explain himself in front of him. I mean, in front of people in a way, Eric. It's not even about apologizing, but you still in this day and age should explain yourself because, Ray was talking about when we mentioned CEOs before of any company, anything, like if you're that person out front, you need to set the tone. And yes, he should go. He should address it again, even though he said he addressed it, before. And I know on 105.3 in Dallas, he said this again. The article was talking about this, but I mean, yeah, it's being in the wrong spot. And to your point, Eric, we always say like, yeah, do I really want to go back and look at, I mean, there are kids that I know that have lost, like, got more guys, but guys and girls that have lost, scholarships because they said something completely stupid and boneheaded when they were 13 years old. Do I think that they're all hateful people, Eric? No. Do I think they should have to apologize for it? Maybe not apologize to your point, but explain themselves, like where they were. Like Ray says, like you can have not even a debate, you can have an open dialogue and a conversation. And we've talked about this in the past, Eric. But Jerry Jones, I mean, again, he's run from it before, and that part to me is frustrating because not everybody always has to comment on everything. So I guess I'll waffle in that area because everything that comes up. But when you're the front of, and you know what? We're talking about ESPN. I mean, Mike Wilbon says it all the time. When you're in front of the Dallas Cowboys, whether you love them or you hate them, it doesn't matter. It's a very talked about team. It is the most valued team in the NFL. And you're the owner and these issues come up. Well, yeah, you talk about everything else. You have no problem running your mouth through a microphone. Like Eric, like I used to tell you, my grandma used to say, you have no problem flapping your gums when everything's okay. But when something comes up and you're supposed to be the lead, you're nowhere to be found. That's what's frustrating about it. So I'm with you. I don't think it's an apology, but explain it again. Because sorry, I know we always kid around and say we're old. None of us were around in 1957. So yeah, I might like to hear it again. And the fact that Jerry Jones, like I said, we'll talk about other stuff, but then stuff like this comes up and you run away from it. That's the annoying part. And okay, if you want to say that story, you weren't there to promote segregation. You just went down to check it out because you're 15 years old and you're like, okay, age, it's eye-opening. Well, people believe it or not, who knows? But that's up for people to decide, but he still needs to get in front of it. That's what's annoying. So yeah, I'm with you. Not an apology. Explain yourself though.
Go ahead, John.
I think it's silly that like we even have to have this conversation because like you guys said, it's from 1957. The article that was written wasn't even about this photo. So like it just happened. They just happened to stumble upon this photo. But the article that was written recently was not even about this photo. It just happened. They just stumbled upon it. And they put it in there, and then it got out, and everybody saw it. But like, what? Why apologize? He didn't do anything wrong. Like unless you saw him in that picture, doing something wrong. He's not doing anything wrong in the photo. Like he shouldn't have to explain himself because he's not doing anything wrong. Mike, you say about 13-year-old like players that were 13 when they're on social media and they said something stupid. That's way different. Because if you say something racist, when you're 13, that's different than just being in a photo from 1957. If you say something on social media, we know you said it.
Because that was the social media in the day, John.
No, it's different. Because like when you say something or you post something, that is you typing that.
Okay, so 12-year-olds make 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds make such great decisions. They might not even know what the hell they're saying.
Hey, John, let me ask you something. Because you've heard my take on this, so I could give a damn less whether he ever apologizes. But
yeah,
right, when you say he wasn't doing anything wrong in the photo,
what was he doing? He was just there.
You do realize what was going on in that photo, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So so now here we go with like again, I genuinely believe that racism, segregation, all of that stuff, it's all learned behavior. I did a post on my Facebook a while ago, and it was in the 60s. And this was right after the laws of segregation were lifted, right? And the reporters were going around talking to middle-aged white people, asking them their thoughts on this new law that was passed. And these people were livid. They were livid, man. I can't believe such a thing could you, right? And the video ends, and just probably half the people they talked to had kids with them, right? And the video ends with this middle-aged white lady. This is the 60s. She looks like she's in her 30s, maybe 40s. And she says, next thing you know, these niggers are going to be living next door to us. That's what she said. And in this video, her son is with her. This is the 60s. The son is probably 7 or 8. And I used that video and I told people, that lady said that on camera, right? What kind of stuff do you think was being said in people's homes in the 50s and 60s, right? And then I said to people, that son that was with her was 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, whatever he was. I said, if that kind of stuff was being said in homes in the 50s and 60s, who do you think those people are now today? Your lawyers, your judges, your politicians, your police officers, your police chiefs, your secretary of state. So I genuinely believe that there's still an underlying issue in this country, and people like Jerry Jones are probably right. I mean, I don't doubt for a second in my mind, right? But I just like when we say he wasn't doing anything wrong in the photo, right?
He was just standing there.
Yeah, but he's standing there in a mob of kids that are calling themselves protesting the idea of these black kids being able to they're trying to they're the guy in the front who everybody kind of laughs at with but they're what word am I looking for? They're physically imposing themselves on these kids to not allow them inside the school, right? Whether he was the ringleader, it's like if guilty by association. If if us four go down somewhere and Eric get into it with somebody and he run up on the guy and all three of us standing there like this, you can't say I was just standing there.
But that's
like you.
It's the exact same thing, John. That's the exact same thing, John.
And John, I would even go as far as to say this.
Speak, or are you
I am. I want to finish my point though, real quick. If the photo showed, right, if it was kind of like, okay, there's this standoff, and the black kids are here, and all of these white guys are here trying to stop them, and then you have bystanders on the side, and you kind of see Jerry Jones, like like when they got the police tape, the police rope, and they like, hey, what's going on? No. He's clearly behind this mob that is there to stop what is taking place. Whether he was the leader, even if he didn't 100% like gather, like, should I be? He was there. He knew what was going on. 15, you know what you're doing.
That's
right?
What I'm saying is like it's all like this is all speculation because we have absolutely no idea what he was doing before then. We have no idea what got him down there. We have no idea what was going through his mind. So like, we have no idea unless somebody else was there and they're like, man, he was partaking. Like we're just speculating. Like that's all we're doing.
How about this, John? John, did he look like he was jumping in front of it to stop it?
He just looked like he was looking like, what's going on?
He knew what was. Don't do that, John. Like,
but again, you're
John,
speculating. It's
don't have
just
to
a
speculate.
photo.
No, it's not, John, because he said in the article his coach told his teammates not to go down there whatsoever at all. Coach said
and
he
a
says that.
15-year-old boy is going to be curious, like what's happening, what's going on.
John, listen, I'm gonna tell you something, brother. Like, we have these conversations about these uncomfortable topics, man, and you usually on the right side of right. I just want to let you know in this particular instance, like if you're taking the stance of, Jerry didn't know, like, yeah. I'm just of the mindset.
I'm saying I have no idea. It's just speculation. Like, I can't say one way or another because all I see is a picture. You had no idea. You weren't there. None of us were there.
John, I'm gonna tell you like you tell us all the time. You're better than that. Don't do that. You better than that. Yes, you are.
Photo and
to sit up here on this show and actually just with that mindset, John, I'm gonna tell you right now, stop it because you're better than that.
John,
don't do that. No, Mike. No, hold on, Mike. I ain't done. You have sat here numerous times when we have done sports topics and we have gone maybe left a little too much, and you have always brought us back. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm protecting John Shear from John Shear right now. No, don't put yourself in that situation. Don't allow yourself to sit here and say it was about speculation, because I'm telling you this. I'm letting you know right now, it was not speculation. It was curiosity.
You know that? Were you there? Was any of us there? Was there any other people that?
No, John, but you know who was there? Jerry Jones. Here's Jerry Jones's quote.
That's what I'm saying. It's like he's
Jones is already
there.
Okay.
So
hey, do you want to hear the quote? Do you want to hear Jerry Jones's quote? Do you want to hear Jerry Jones's quote? Because you're like you said, none of us were there. None of us are Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones's quote. Jones has already addressed the photo, saying that he wasn't taking part in the demonstration, but he went there out of curiosity. Although his football coach at the time told him and his teammates to stay away. Jones also said that he wishes he had done more to help black students feel more accepted in Little Rock. So yes, John, to your point, we weren't there. That's Jones's quote of the photo. Coach told him to stay away. So to Ray's point, to Eric's point, yes, he knew what was going on there. I'm with Eric saying I don't need an apology. Just, again, air it out because there's no reason why you shouldn't air it out. So to your point, he did know what he was doing. Yes, he did.
And I'm going to say the same thing. Like, I'm going to go on the other side. Like, even if he gives apology, like, I'm not going to believe it because I'm not going to believe it because it's going to be a half-ass apology. It's going to be a PC apology. So, like, what is an apology
Eric and I aren't saying apologize.
No, I know.
Explain yourself. You don't need an apology.
Asking for one. Yeah. It's like, what's it going to do? You're going to get a PC answer. Yeah. That's all you're going to get out of it.
Here's the thing with that, though, Mike. Mike, here's the thing with explain yourself. Even that's going to be BS. You know what I mean? Like, he's already saying I was curious.
Okay, but he's going to read the same quote, but he's going to do it in front of cameras. If he can run in front of cameras and flap his guns all the time, then he should do it now.
Listen, my right hand to God, this is a true story. My God strike me down. This is a true story. 14, 15, I was in that age, somewhere between 13 and 16. I don't remember the exact age, so God don't strike me down for that. True story. Friends in my neighborhood. Where I lived, my bedroom looked out, and there was a little corner store. And it's late at night, and I see my boys over there, and I'm like, what are y'all doing? They like, shh, bro, come on. They was calling themselves going to break in the store, little corner store. They thought they was going to steal, like, lottery tickets, and we was going to get rich, right? Had a little crowbar, and they was on the top of it. I went over, like it was this little construction place, and you had to climb up the thing to get on top of the store. I went over, climbed up. At that point, I 100% knew what was going on. They were trying to break in the store. Guess what? I might have been curious, but at that point, I knew we was about to break into this store. Do you know when we got caught? I told the police I didn't know what was going on. I was just curious. I swear to God, I told them that, right? Like, but I fully knew what was going on, man. Like, curiosity only gets you so far. Like, even if Jerry Jones went because he was curious. When he saw them stopping them black kids from getting in, he knew what was going on. He knew.
Right. But he's not saying
everybody knew.
He's not saying he didn't. I'm just saying you run your mouth about so many other things. You get in front of a microphone and other things come down. The whole kneeling thing, the way the Cowboys handled, the way he handled it and said what was going on. Again, Eric and I talk about this. You're the owner of the team. He who has the money makes the rules. Right, wrong, or indifferent doesn't mean Jerry Jones is right. But you're going to get in front of the microphone and say a lot of this stuff. Again, I don't need an apology. He can just reread the same damn statement that he said before in front of cameras and then at least take healthy questions on it, Ray. That's my point. Yes, we can only say. I'm curious. I didn't know
It's
what's
all
going
going to
on.
be BS, though, Mike. It's all it's going to be.
That's
It's
what I
gonna be
agree with, John.
bullshit.
Like it's BS.
That's the part I agree with,
Because
John.
that's what
90%
these billionaire
okay,
owners
wait.
do, Mike.
I'll take it one step further.
John.
75% of people's statements and apologies are BS anyway. They're only doing it because they have to.
Exactly. Thank you. That's what these millionaire
But
owners
you don't
do.
want an
Billionaire
apology. I'm
owners
just saying,
do.
just talk about it. You talk
They
about
want to
everything
give you a
else.
straight
Talk about
answer.
it.
And I would also
John.
like to throw this out because it kind of gets thrown as a like I said, this tit for tat idea, right? Everybody goes, they made Kyrie apologize. I got $100 for somebody who can show me the video of Kyrie apologize.
I don't have the video, but I have the Instagram.
You know why? Because his PR team issued a public apology. You know what I did see on camera? I saw Kyrie looking right in the camera and say, apologize for what? For being proud of who I am? You mean?
You're right.
And that's what I believe. If Jerry Jones was to ever, it would be a PR. And then this ain't like, it pays to be the boss, right? Like Kyrie's the employee versus the employer. And I think that's the bigger like kind of subject that people kind of diving into with this situation. But like Jerry's an 80-year-old white billionaire. You think man, look, listen, I'll tell you what, if I was Jerry Jones, I wouldn't apologize. An 80-year-old rich white billionaire. Who gonna check me, boo? Like he's just not, man. And I personally just feel like that again, that mindset of well, they made us do it. So even so let's respond to that. Hold him to the fire. Donald Sterling, I 1000% agree with what happened to him, right? What's the cat in Washington that they was running
Dan
through?
Snyder.
Dan Snyder.
All of that kind of stuff is current, is happening right now. You are affecting the climate right now. When I posted on my Facebook, y'all know what it was like in 1957. I'm not saying Jerry was right. I'm simply saying, even if we buy that he was curious, that would be a very realistic thing, right? Even if he wasn't the ringleader, he was there. It was a lot of white folks standing there. Even if we go with the idea, when I said earlier, he was standing there, he wasn't doing nothing to stop it. What 15-year-old white kid was about to jump in front of that mob? Being brave and courageous wasn't a thing at that time. So even if we go into the idea that maybe he didn't know, right? It's just like at that time, that 15-year-old kid, whatever his mindset was, right, was a learned and taught behavior, right? If you want him to say, man, that was jacked up what we did at that time, he probably don't really believe it himself. So when I said to people, y'all know what it was like in 1957? I'm saying to people, y'all really expect this man to go back at 80 years old and apologize for something he did at 50? I ain't apologizing for nothing I did last week. You know what I'm saying? Like if I came on here,
right,
and I was bugging, and I come back next week, I'm like, Ray, you was tripping. I'll be like, yeah, hey. like I just don't understand. We want that man to apologize. And it's not that
Ray
I
would
don't
be
think
like,
he
that was my
was wrong.
clone.
You get what I'm saying? It's not that I don't think he was wrong or I think he should be absolved from whatever people have to say about it. It's just like, bro, I'm not like, and then people, like the retort is, they went back and got Bill Cosby. I thought that was stupid too. You mean, like, I'm not in the tit for tat game where it's like, oh, it did it to us. I don't want them to do it to them because they did it to us.
Doesn't make you any
we in
better
overtime. It's not Roku,
game,
right?
Yep.
Right?
No, this
I
ain't
don't
Roku.
want them. Yeah, I don't want them to do it to them because they did it to us. I just want them to stop fucking doing it to us. You get what I'm saying? Like, my retort to it isn't, they did this to us, so let's do it to them too. No. Just stop fucking doing it to us. I don't want them to shoot white people because they shooting black people. Just stop shooting black people. I don't want to lock up white people because they locking up black people. Just stop locking us up. So I don't want him to have to apologize because they made Kyrie or forced him to apologize. No, they just shouldn't have made Kyrie do it either. You get what I'm saying? That's my stance is I don't want revenge. I want them to just stop doing this kind of stuff to us. And them making Jerry Jones apologize don't help nothing.
Let's not make it black versus white anymore. Like,
Good luck on that.
That's
one,
how I see it, Eric. Like, I don't want it to be black versus white. I want us all.
John, I'm right there with you. John, I'm right there.
I'll fight to my death for that. I'll fight to my death.
I understand that, but unfortunately,
John, there's also a lot of people.
That's not where we at.
And Eric,
that's not where we at.
That'll spit stuff out just to get people.
I'll fight to my very last day. Eric,
I get it,
like,
John. I get it, and I'm walking with you.
Ray, let me ask
2022, I'm also very realistic of the
Yeah.
situation
Oh yeah, of course.
that every day, and I don't mean to, we going down this rabbit hole, so let's go down it.
We
Every
already
day
in
that
it.
Ray and I walk out our house, we carry a lot more weight than you and Mike do.
I
Okay,
agree.
that's the real of it. And Ray has it more than I do because Ray has children. You know what I'm saying? So he carries a larger weight. So it's not my responsibility, but it's what I want to do to make sure that that man doesn't have to carry that load. And if we got to carry it, then damn it, we're gonna carry it together because we understand. But it's just, I appreciate it. Like I said to you before, I appreciate it. But as media, there are some things that need to be addressed, and then there are a lot of things that are swept under the rug. And I saw this meme today, or I saw this note today. There are more people in Mississippi mad at Deion than they are mad at Brett Favre.
Yep.
And that's just a fact. And we're talking about two totally different things.
Yep.
The one thing they have in common is they both played in the NFL. And they're both Hall of Famers. But I'm just, that is the world we live in.
Yep.
Can I comment on that, E?
Sure.
Right, wrong, or different. Now, I'm commenting specifically to that meme. I'm going to be transparent for a second. And anybody listening, I know she sleeps. She might not still be watching. When me and my wife have a disagreement or argument, or I'm the one upset about something, it's like freaking, like, and I don't mean yelling and screaming. I'm talking about just how upset I can get, right? Like, we might not talk for 2 days, right? And she asked me one time, this is a while ago, and I've been so much better since because I realized she's right. She said, why is it when you get mad at me, it's like the whole world come to a screeching halt? Bro. You get mad at your friends, your cousins, your whoever, and you just be over it. Now, it made me reflect, but in the moment, the answer I gave her, and I still stand by this answer, I said, the people closest to you can hurt you the most, right? I said, when somebody's really close to you and you feel a certain thing for them and about them, right? How they do, or when you feel they've slighted you in some kind of way, it's going to hurt way worse because in your mind, you think, I would never do that. In your mind, I would never do that to you. Or I would not hurt you in such a way. Like if somebody commented crazy to me on Facebook, then I know I wouldn't care. But if one of y'all said something crazy, I'd be like, yo, we supposed to be, you know what I mean? So when people say, just to the specific thing you just said, the people in Mississippi are more upset at Deion Sanders than Brett Favre. Deion Sanders gave him hope. Right? They felt he was going to do something special in little old Mississippi, especially for black folks in Mississippi. From what I understand, they still call him black folks boy down there, right? He brought a sigh of relief and hope to something that could be special. I'm not even talking about that being right or wrong. I'm just speaking to the idea that them being upset. Poor people ain't care about Brett Favre stealing money because they wasn't seeing the money no way. We just speaking facts, right? Am I saying Brett Favre isn't wrong? No, right? The media should have been dragging Brett Favre. The media, to Loso's point in the comments, didn't hold Brett Favre to the fire at all. They didn't run that story nearly quite enough, right?
They did just for 72 hours. It was 72 hours, basically.
If his skin color was different, do you think you would
have
been dragged?
That I can agree with. But to the people of Mississippi that they say are more upset at, them people don't give a damn about Brett Favre. Those people believed in Deion and feel scorned, so to speak, right? To my earlier points. Like they feel like, man, this dude promised us the world. You know what I mean? And I don't want to take this back to my earlier point, like I'm absolving. I'm just simply saying, speaking to when people say they more upset, then people ain't caring no more about Brett Favre. Now, the media, on the other hand, how they handled the Brett Favre situation, despicable. Absolutely despicable, right? They just glossed over that like it was just some regular run-of-the-mill. They just handled that all wrong. Hell, we handled it. I don't think we covered it enough.
Yeah.
We didn't. You're
So
absolutely
can I
right.
ask you something, Ray?
Accountability. We did not.
Can I ask you something? Who's the guy in Houston that allegedly did all that stuff with the massage therapist? We all know his name. It's Deshaun Watson, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about the guy in Seattle a couple years ago? The no-name backup linebacker, whatever he was,
He got released. He was done.
Does anybody know his name? He ain't getting dragged.
That's
Deshaun Watson got
released.
dragged like
He got
crazy.
released and he was done. He's not playing anymore.
Right.
That's why.
But
It's a
but
talent.
Deshaun
Johnny,
Watson
talking
got Deshaun Watson went and got his big contract, but we all dragged him. That other guy really ain't get dragged. Like he ain't got no bad publicity.
real quick, John.
You're dragging yourself though.
But we don't even know his name.
Real quick, John, here's the problem with that, right? And this is the Jerry Jones situation. Oh, this comes full circle. The Jerry Jones situation, I think we, like the Black culture, us as a people, right? I think we sometimes pick the wrong issues to like make that our sticking point. And for me, this Jerry Jones was one of those where it was like, man, that ain't gonna do nothing. We gotta choose something bigger to hang our hat on. My thought process. Like, if we fight and scratch and claw and Jerry Jones apologize, it don't mean shit, right? It's how I think. To that point, right? This is one of the situations, like as a black man, if I go, oh, they drugged Deshaun, but they dragged that other guy. That's a popularity thing, though, right? Like Deshaun Watson, the starting quarterback, and threw for 5,000 yards. Nobody know the guy name because we didn't know it before. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's just that comparison in itself is one of the ones where it's like, kind of like the kicker from the Giants who beat his wife. It was like, don't nobody know that guy.
But like you're reading all that, Deshaun Watson did a lot of weird stuff. But this guy, like Chad Wheeler, he did a lot of messed up stuff. Like if you read,
but like, what do you think would happen if Tom Brady beat his wife?
I don't think he would get nearly the drag as Deshaun Watson got.
Oh,
being honest,
yes.
I don't think he would get dragged. I don't think he would get dragged.
Woman, okay. You're
no, I'm saying.
I'm just speaking. John, I guess the point I was
serious.
making was the popularity of it. You know what I mean? Like the popularity of the person
I think that he would
matters.
get drugged, but I don't think he would get like, I don't think they would rub his face in it. I think it would be like,
are you kidding me? John,
Eric on this.
John,
that's insane.
You of all people know this.
If you beat a woman,
sir, know this. You can do 1,000 things correctly. What are people going to most remember about you?
That you do, of course.
That one wrong thing that you do.
Right, but
Tom Brady has 20 plus years of accolades to stand on.
But you beat a
woman. The people aren't going to they're going to continually call this man the GOAT. They are going to shout his praises from the rooftops.
I think he'll get off easier than Deshaun Watson.
No, he will not.
They did the same thing. No. I think he would. I think he would get. People would be a lot easier on him. Give him excuses.
You're wrong.
First off,
that's what I think.
First off,
you wrong.
Tell him stop telling these lies. No, they do not. Like that's regular, everyday people. Like the media completely forgot about it when he was back on the field. Let's go and call that spade a spade. Like
right. Yeah. Look. Here's the thing. Anything going back in time were things right? Were nothing. The situation wasn't right. So that's why I'm with Eric. Not an apology when we're talking Jerry Jones, but have healthy conversations. Certain people are very divisive. There are a lot of different conversations that need to change, but people don't want that. Some people don't. Not all. I shouldn't say people. Sorry, my bad. Some people don't. They want to keep things divisive. But if you're, again, Jerry Jones up front, talking about so many things, this and that, the whole kneeling thing, the whole yada, 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 calling Kaepernick, Jerry, would you bring him in? And, you just have to see, they ought to tote that line. You knew nobody was going to bring Kaepernick in, which was a bunch of crap.
49ers can. They need a QB.
I'm talking years ago when it happened. Anyway, but you can't, and again, to Donald Sterling, you can't compare the same, but you're not going to compare Jerry Jones and Donald Sterling with their situation the same. Donald Sterling, what he said on tape was absolutely disgusting. I mean, the man should have, it sucks you're forced to get rid of a team and you made $2 billion off it. That's disgusting. But I digress. Deshaun Watson and Wheeler, John, it is different because Deshaun Watson, they both, again, brought it on themselves. Wheeler's situation, from what I recall, when they broke it, a little bit different, but still a guy was. But Deshaun Watson, all these women that start accusing him, and yes, we said from the beginning, do I think some may have piled on? Sure. Do I think that there are some maybe telling the truth? They settled, and he can't talk about it anyway because if he mentions them, everybody talks about
part of settling. Right?
Yeah, the other half of the Non-Disclosure Act is they can't say his name in a bad light, but if he says their name, he's going to be paying a lot more, and they're going to drag his ass through the mud in the media. They don't need to go to court anymore because they got the settlement. So that's part of it. So yeah, he can't talk about it now. And to me, I mean, I even heard Sarah Spain say on the radio show saying that it is cowardice. And she goes, yeah, I know lawyers. I understand NDAs, but there are still some things that he could address. And at least it's not even about admitting guilt, she said, but at least basically these accusers, you're looking at them, you settle with them, you're treating them as people. So, but yeah, and to Ray's point, nobody knew Wheeler. Deshaun Watson's a whole different story. Like you said, 5,000 yards and talent. They'll find a place for you. And
all right, gentlemen, we gotta close this out.